With Lolita getting a new skin, to Zask getting a possible new model, not only that, Suyu's model is updated too. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video we are going to talk about patch note 1.9.10, Lancelot and Saber with a new energy bar and more. Let's move on to hero adjustments. Suyu has received further optimization to ensure balance in his skill damage. The stun effect on his skill 1 has been replaced with an airburn effect, though the control duration remains the same. Skill 2's physical bonus for tape casting damage has been increased from 120% to 200% extra physical attack. However, skill 3 has been adjusted. Tape casting damage has been slightly reduced, while hold casting damage has been increased, making his hold cast option more powerful. After the recent skill revamp, Argus became significantly stronger, particularly with the frequent activation of Demonic Slash during his ultimate in the late game. To balance this, his passive energy regen on crit has been reduced from 20 to 10, and the effect that allowed Demonic Slash to ignore 40% of the target's physical defense has been removed. Additionally, skill 2 now only restores 100 melee energy when hitting heroes. And the ultimate's cooldown has been increased from 55 to 45 seconds to 60 to 50 seconds. Lucas's flash combo in Sacred Beast form has been optimized to only knock nearby enemies airborne, while distant enemy will still take damage from subsequent tail swings. The base damage of skill 1 has been reduced by 50 in the late game, but the extra physical bonus has been increased by 10%. The spin damage's extra physical bonus has been reduced by 30%. The cooldown reduction for skill 2 has been adjusted to make it more balanced, now at 2.5 to 4 seconds instead of 2 to 4.5 seconds. Without mana, Lancelot is a significant threat to marksmen, so the developers have added an energy bar to his skill 1 while letting him use his skill 1 without a target. There is now no CD on his first skill. Successfully applying a sword mark will restore 35 energy, allowing for more strategic management. The energy cost on his skill 1 is now 50. As you know, we have already covered his update on the removal of mana. In this video, we called him OP, and looks like Moonton is already kinda bringing in adjustments for him. Saber's ultimate posed too great a threat to squishy heroes, so he has received some major adjustments. Saber's skill 1 now has an energy cost of 50. The orbiting swords attack has been adjusted to reduce the cooldown of both orbiting swords and charged by 15%, and it also restores 5 energy. However, dealing damage to minions will no longer restore energy. His skill 2 has been buffed. After using charge, Saber's next basic attack now deals 35 in the early game and 75 in the late game, plus 60% total physical attack, physical damage twice. The cooldown of Saber's ultimate has been increased from 14 in the early game and 4 in the late game. Additionally, the base damage has been significantly reduced. The first 2 strikes now deal 65 to 115 damage, down from 120 to 180. And the third strike deals 130 to 230 damage, down from 240 to 360. Novaria's mana efficiency has been improved, with the mana cost for skill 1 reduced from 10 in the early and late game, and skill 2's cooldown was reduced by 1 with the mana cost reduction of 20 in the early game and 30 in the late game. Alice's maximum mana has been increased to align with recent equipment adjustments. Her mana regen per second is now 6, up from 3.6, and her mana growth per level has been increased from 100 to 150. Sicilian's mana has been buffed, with his base mana increased from 700 to 750 and his mana growth per level increased from 109 to 150, enhancing his ability to cast spells frequently in longer matches. Nolan's recent buffs have been partially reverted. His passive HP regen has been reduced from 150 plus 150% extra physical attack to 100 plus 70% extra physical attack. decreasing his overall survivability. Uranus' mana cost has been reduced to improve his sustainability in fights. Skill 1's mana cost has been decreased by 20 in the early and late game, and Skill 2's mana cost has also been reduced by 20 in the early game and 45 in the late game. A new feature has been added for Natalia. After entering a bush, the remaining time for her basic attack to be enhanced will now be displayed below her HP bar, giving players better visibility of her buff status. Joy's ultimate has been adjusted to slightly reduce the interval between each damage tick, better matching the rhythm of her skill 2's music. The number of hits and damage values remain unchanged, ensuring her burst potential is still intact. Terizla's early game strength has been reduced from following the removal of his mana cost. To address this, his cooldown has been increased for skill 1 from 7 seconds to 9 seconds at all levels. Additionally, the total physical attack bonus for the first 2 attacks of skill 2 has been decreased by 25 in the early game. Kufra and Ben's mana bar has been removed. Moving on to a battlefield adjustments. In line with the mana cost adjustments, the developers have increased the effects provided by Thunder Fenrir for heroes without mana cost. This adjustment ensures that these heroes still receive meaningful benefits from defeating this creep. The cooldown reduction provided by certain creep has been increased by 5%, while the mana cost reduction has been slightly decreased by 10%. These changes aim to balance the rewards for all heroes, whether they rely on mana or not, ensuring fair and strategic gameplay. Following the successful optimization of the move and attack experience for Hanabi and Ixia, there are more improvements made to marksmen. Now Mia, Bruno, Yi Sun-shin, Kerry, Wanwan, Popol and Koopa, Beatrix, Bennett, Nathan and Melissa will be able to start moving more quickly after each basic attack interval. This change enhances their mobility and responsiveness in battles. It's important to note that Leela, Moskov, Erithel, Leslie, Claude and Beatrix Nibiru have already received this optimization and do not require further adjustments. The developers have unified the mana and mana regen per second for most heroes with mana cost, with exceptions for Alice, Sicilian and Zuzin. Additionally, some tank and roaming heroes including Chip, Glue, Matilda, Atlas, Carmilla, Bakshia, Balric, Kaja and Uranus have received increased mana and mana regen per second to enhance their sustainability in prolonged fights. The skill effects have been optimized for visual effects for Aldous skill 1 and 2, as well as Eudora's ultimate, making them clearer and more distinct during gameplay. The glowing wand has received a nerf. After the addition of healing reduction effect, glowing wand become too versatile. To balance this, the developers have slightly reduced its damage. The unique passive Scorch now deals 1% of target's maximum HP as damage per second. This adjustment should make the item less overwhelming while still retaining its utility. Moving on to weekly free heroes. The weekly free heroes from 9th of August till 16th of August are as follows. And here are the extra free heroes for Starlight members. Moving on to surveys. Today we have Ramadan surveys for Benedetta. Here is design number 1 and it's called Journey Messenger. This design, I don't really think is in theme with Ramadan. The design is nice, don't get me wrong, the monocle and the fur coat all looks great. I can also see why she is called the Journey Messenger, with her holding a letter and stuff. Moving on to design number 2, Soul Gardener. This design is again not in theme, but this one is also a great design. God, these skins are going to be sick. I love the color scheme and I love the small little details like the flowers on her eyes and shoulders. It adds a little bit of character to the design, and the sword design here is also good. Finally, let's check out Zero Watchman. I guess Moontun really made a mistake by calling these surveys Ramadan. But it's fine, this skin is sick. She almost looks like a vampire or Dracula to me here. Because of her pale scale and sharp eyes, her cap reminds me of Sicilian wings. There are some tiny little bits here and there too. so maybe she is a vampire. I'm not really sure, but it's a great design. I hope this one wins. Moving on to other updates. First, we have a new section in the shop called Special. Well, simply it's the section where you can grab Starlight cards, COA bundle and other shop items. And if we look here, we can see the MPL surprise box containing Franco's Quantum Vanguard, which is guaranteed in 37 or lesser draws. The best part is we can now see how many times we have opened the chest. Then we have good news for Chip's fans, as his new Elite skin will also be arriving in the new arrival. You just need to tap here and then you can choose Chip's skin. Then you can draw and get your skin in 160 or lesser draws. We have a few more emotes cooking up, just the names are out for now. First is Roger That. Then we have Power. And lastly, we have M6 Champion and M6 Greeting emote. Also, here's the M6 achievement. You can get this by completing 2 matches solo or 1 match in a team played between 28th and 29th of December. Then we have the upcoming loading screen featuring the 8th anniversary of MLBB. The Suyu model has been updated and enhanced now. The name for Xavier's Starlight skin is revealed and will be called Hardlight Artificer. We also have the head icon of Lolita's upcoming skin called Star Watcher. And here we have the 8th anniversary of Akai skin. The design looks amazing. Then we have portrait for revamped Cyclops. Lastly, we have 2 new sacred statues. The first is of Marty's upcoming Starlight skin. The second is of Zask's upcoming Starlight skin, but something is interesting. The design model is different than that of the current Zask. Is this a hint of Zask revamped model? So what do you think about this update? Share your thoughts down below. That will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.